I did that one a few years back. It
Oh, nice.
was incredible.
How was the climb?
Okay.
Yeah, it was. You're stepping up for 8 hours straight. Every step is up. There's like no
8 hours
plateau.
straight. Oh my god.
And then they wake you up at probably like 3 in the morning, and then you make for the summit. You're just at base camp, then you make for summit. It's another maybe like 2 hours, and then you're above the clouds. You can see the ocean in the distance. The sun's rising. The moon was out that night, and the volcano's going off nonstop. It was like,
oh my god,
it was insane.
That sounds amazing.
Oh yeah, I just started bawling. I was like, oh, this is insane.
It's like a movie. You're living in a movie.
Yeah. And I had like, I'm a photographer, so I just had my like pro camera, huge lens on, just getting like the best photos of the volcano spouting off all night. It was just awesome.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, really looking forward to that. But 8 hours climb straight plus another 2.
Dang.
And you're carrying your kit with you, right?
A small bag. You have people with you that carry like most of your gear, but yeah,
little Mayans that do the real work.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like
I was doing it with an Aussie buddy.
Okay, what's that?
Yeah, I had an Aussie friend. We were doing it together, and we didn't really know what to expect. So he just showed up with his little flip flops on. And he's like, I'll be fine. He almost lost his toes.
Oh my god.
We all got friends like that, man.
He almost lost his toes. That's the best part of the trip. He almost lost his toes.
So, dudes, thank you all for being here. This is lovely. It turns out we had 2 different links. The calendar made one, and the school had another. So we started on the first one and got 9 minutes into it. And Yaya was like, "Hey, dude, we're waiting for you. The room's full." So I'm glad we're all together in one spot now, except for William. I think he walked away, so he may not have gotten the link. But in any case, we are here. So, Jonas, I hope you don't mind starting over one more time. I'm going to give a brief,
absolutely not.
Brief introduction of what
all
we're
right,
doing.
Nice to meet you, everybody.
So,
I'm Jonas. I'm in Copenhagen right now, and yeah, please.
Yeah, I'm just going to do a really quick intro to the whole thing, and then we'll move forward. So, in short order, everyone knows that what we're running through here is what I'm calling the protocol for the time being. It sounds a little bit official, so I'll probably try to come up with something a little bit more silly and stupid because that's like really professional. So anyways, the concept though is, for those of you that aren't familiar, is my high ticket offer that I've been doing mostly off platform for the last, I don't know, few months in particular, is a 30K purchase to do a full build out, and then the person just takes it and runs with it. And what we have never done, which is in large part from the feedback from the community, is trying to do that showing application rather than just theory, so that everyone can see exactly what the flow for these things are. And I was planning to, as of yesterday, just go ahead and gut captivate and do that, which I will still do. However, something we're going to add into that is that I ran into Jonas on one of my last calls yesterday. He just booked a random ass call, and he ended up being perfect for showing exactly this thing, because he's skeptical of Skool. He's tried for a couple of years to do this thing online, and it hasn't worked. And he's agreed that I can be direct with him and just kind of like slap him around without having to be like walking him through it for weeks at a time. So we've already talked about it briefly, and he said that, yep, he's happy being taken through the full process while we all consume and enjoy. And hopefully by the time it's done, he's so confident with what we've built that he keeps running it into a successful online business. Does that sound good to everybody?
Yeah.
So, all right, Sir Jonas, give us your intro. What was the challenges and what were you trying to do before that brought you to this point?
Yeah, so obviously it's nice to meet you, everybody. And I have a background in filmmaking, videography, and fine art. And during COVID, I started to be a bit in the position to restructure my whole things, and found the online education platform, or like the found like pleasure in the idea of starting to digest what I experienced into something where I hope I can bring value to other people. And I've been doing this with one-on-one with, I think, I don't know, on and like over the last 5 years, maybe with 20 to 30, 40 people. Like some stood longer, some not so long, and it was really me working one-on-one with them. And it was like teaching them video editing, very basic things, or how they can get like their first clients how they can get like more confident in their creative work, how they can structure their time better, how they can actually start to do first sketches to start to make their films, and yeah, not be hung up in procrastination somehow. So it was like a big variety of things that I've been trying to do there and structure a program out of it, which was probably the first mistake to begin with, because I wanted to have like a finished program in the first place and then like be market ready with this. And looking back, I think it would be the first thing that I would do different, to just take something that is like a really basic minimal product and work with that. But I think this was like a big roadblock I had the last 5 years, to try to do something perfect versus going with something that is able to be improved. So this is also why I embrace this whole concept of being with you guys, because I think it's a great way to collaborate, to just throw your minds together and see like what you can actually like do while testing it in the real world rather than in your mind. So yeah, I have experience kind of with transitioning myself from being only a videographer or service provider to also opening myself up to the idea to share that knowledge in the past 5 years. And roadblocks, as I said, maybe perfectionism, marketing is a big one. Like how can I just put that out that is like a salesy offer, but then still be like I'm not like a crazy money oriented person, I must say. I want to like money to pay off a debt right now through that, but like I'm not crazy about making millions or something. And that's why I also don't want to present myself. This is maybe what you meant with having hesitation towards Skool or something. I don't have it right. Actually, I think it's like a platform like anybody else, and then it's like a medium. So it's a question of what you do with that medium. But what you meant probably is that I would like to present something in a way which feels genuine and does not have like a salesy hook vibe. I think it's selling in the end. It's what it is. I mean, you want to provide value to somebody, and then they need somehow to take that first attention. So maybe a hook is good, but I feel like I would like to present it online in a way where I can still stand fully behind it. I think that's it. That's my biggest roadblock.
Beautiful. This is why I resonated immediately, was because
yeah,
I'm definitely a creative that had to learn how to do business. And those of us that have been in that situation have a lot of head banging against the wall to make that kind of thing happen. So I've definitely been there. Cool. Okay. Just to confirm, so you're cool with me being direct with things, because you can ask as many questions as you want, but we'll need no resistance for this. If I say, hey, it has to be like this, definitely try your best to understand it, but otherwise just be like, all right, we're just gonna go ahead with it. Sound okay?
I'll give it a try.
Beautiful. I love that.
You're
All
gonna
right,
be
so
unicorn, baby.
that's right, man. All right, let's go ahead and jump in, and I'm sure we're going to be unfurling a bit more of your story here in just a second. So we'll jump right back to you in a moment. Could you please share your screen and go to this link? We're going to go to the Captivate Leads community.
Yeah, maybe I need to re-enter then. It's sometimes the case. Maybe it works. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, it works. Okay, cool. So
beautiful. You closed all your porn tabs? Excellent. Okay, so on the right-hand side, you'll see make money with Skool. It's the watermelon on the right side. There you are. And that is the Captivate affiliate link. So we're going to do something special here. And now you can turn it off while you put in your card information. Oh, never mind. You don't have to. It doesn't show the whole numbers. Yep. So
I have it saved. This would be the first question, how to name that thing, but we can rename it later, right?
Oh yeah, that doesn't matter. We're gonna just focus on the 80-20, the 80% of the 20% of things that make 80% of the difference. That's what we're gonna be focusing on through this. So you can imagine that most build-outs are a combination of trial and error. And at this point, we have seen so many things and been able to assemble an aggregate of the ones that are most successful. And that's basically the structure that we're going to build out. And then from there, you can customize it and tailor it. I would say Just put something simple like Jonas's Videography Clubhouse.
Or I run the ad actually with Creative Video Workshop. Would it make sense to just use that?
Yeah, just do that. That's great. That's way better than my suggestion. Oh, your share stopped.
Maybe because I'm doing something with my credit card. Yeah, I will share it again.
All right, cool. Everyone, make sure to write down all the digits.
Yeah, I think actually usually I need to approve it, but okay, I have the group.
All right, so now can you please send me the link to it, and I'm gonna jump in as admin. You'll just have to admin me once I'm in.
I will just send the link here in the chat.
Perfect. Everyone, feel free to jump in if you want to.
And then make you an admin, right? Settings.
Right. Well, first I have to get in there. So let me join group. All right, now go ahead and refresh your page.
Approve. Thanks.
There you go.
Approve.
And then you'll admin me.
Okay, probably members. Membership. No.
I think it should be, yeah, on membership, it should be membership.
Yeah, you gotta click on the gear icon on his membership, and then it'll say change role.
Yeah, where you were. Yeah, right there.
This one?
Yeah,
Oh, got it.
Yeah. Beautiful. Jump back in. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and steal the screen. Let's make it.
So I stopped presenting, I guess. Okay, it worked.
It's all right, I'll steal it from you.
Yep.
Okay, so here we are. Let's go ahead and accept another couple of applications here. You're very popular. All right, so now we have already accomplished the very first thing, but in most cases, the very first thing of just making sure you invite 3 people, it could be anybody. You're just going to grab 3 people and put them in there. It's really important to remember that when you're doing this, your greatest fear is always going to be adding viewership to what you're doing if you don't feel like you know what you're doing. And the important thing is to add people that can see what you're doing, because that's what makes just enough pressure for you to take action rather than wait. And that's going to be the biggest part, is just taking action even though you don't know exactly what you're doing yet. That's how anyone figures things out, and that's what we're going to be doing here. And before we get to all of these things, I'm just going to post here. We're going to go over your why. So tell me a little bit why you're trying to, that's a funny one. Why is it that you're trying to build an online business? You said you were trying to, can we talk about your mortgage? Is that fine?
It's not the reason why I'm actually doing it. I think I would be faster doing done-for-you services for clients, paying it off.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so tell us. I'd love to hear what your motivation is.
Actually, I would love to have everybody be able to express their creative vision despite gatekeepers in a way. So even somebody who's coming from a place to not have had like a very privileged position to attend art schools for multiple years. I could do that because I was freelancing. I'm not coming from a crazy rich background, but I was supporting myself. But I can see that somewhere in the world, people don't have this, I would call it luxury, to focus on their creative vision kind of, because they need to only pay kind of the bills, and it costs money to be creative, I think. Because even if you buy just canvas supplies or you buy camera gear, let's pretend somebody is on the minimal of survival, and then it's going to be really hard. So I think with that whole thing, I would at least like to provide the theoretical background to make it accessible without having any constraints. So how do you structure a story? How do you make actually kind of a mind map for your things? So all this stuff you learn in art school, kind of.
Yeah. And you want to be able to have a more accessible art school.
I think it would be like the long-term plan at least. But like I was also talking to people like one girl from Turkey. We had like a Zoom call from the Instagram ad I was running, and then she said like she does not care about that whole creative process. She wants to find a way how she can like monetize her skills kind of in the first place, because this is her biggest pain point, that she wants to take her creative ideals and make a living from that. But this kind of does not really resonate 100% with me, because as you know, I would not like to have it like a money driven thing, but I think it's needed also to provide like a framework. Okay, how do I actually approach a client and present myself in a way that I don't undervalue the service, and like have the courage to say, okay, I'm not doing it for €1 week work, but like for 500 to 5,000 or more. And so how to price your services. Guys, I'm just rambling really freely in my mind, you know, like I'm figuring out myself where this is going while speaking it. So
beautiful.
But I love to empower other filmmakers kind of. You know, I was once like 2015 it was, trying to shoot a documentary about skateboarding girls in Morocco, and it was great to film it, and like I financed the whole thing through commercial gigs, but then I was stuck with the editing, because I was just overwhelmed how to take this footage cluster of like 100 hours and take it into like a narrative that is nice to watch. So I think I would also like to work on that. How do you transform a big bunch of footage into like a narrative through editing it?
What was the video that you showed me yesterday?
This is the Porsche commercial there. Or which one did I show you?
This one, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a commercial work for with Porsche cars and Ferdi Porsche. It's the son of the company, and it's like about his values, and it's like a documentary film, I guess, 7 minutes, but YouTube, like made for online platforms. With that client, we're actually working eventually to work on a cinema film, even like with a watch brand. They're based in Switzerland. It's Patek Philippe, and like they have like minute repeater watches, which is like watches that are making a sound. I'm not a watch guy necessarily, but like these clients, they kind of found me, and they like the way I'm telling stories. So from time to time now we produce films.
Beautiful. I love it, man. Okay, so, and the last thing is your money, right? You do need to make some degree of money from this. Yesterday we were talking about 10K a month would be a super awesome one. Let's go ahead and that correct? That's what we landed on?
Yes, I would ideally, like I think besides, let's talk about my personal interests, right? Like I was sharing some, like I think that's the question you're heading. So I've been getting stuck a bit with traveling so much for jobs. It has been like affecting my relationship negatively, because I needed to like change place very frequently. And then it has also like a bit like tackled my health life, because if you like eat like just in this, you know, like the stuff that is available, it's usually junk food, like when you're traveling, or like at least I was not having a great health through that process, because you're like constantly under stress, you have tough deadlines. I love it, but I would also like at least to be able to step back from it. I will continue with that work because it's really what I wanted to do, but have this foundation to at least have my minimal costs covered through something that's remote, where I can give back in a positive way, because I know that I've done it for the few people I worked with so far. It helped them, and I would really like to like extend that to a circle that is bigger than 20 people or 40 or something. So that had a big benefit on like from their big feedback. It was a great experience, and gave them the confidence to pursue what they love doing, and I think that's a great thing. So money-wise, I don't have a fixed number. I would like to at least have my living cost covered, and I'm living in Copenhagen. It's really expensive here, actually. So I think 10,000 would be a good number to go, and I would be also very happy with that. I don't need crazy much more. I know this 10K is kind of like even like a thing that everybody tries to make 10K or something, but it's just probably because your rent is covered, my food is covered, I can travel, I can visit friends. I don't have to think then now during New Year's Eve I want to visit friends and I'm having issues to afford that, you know, and I don't want to have this issue, right? To go visit friends, and then that's why 10K probably. Like, but it could also be more because then I could give my mom something or somebody, you know, or I don't mind more, but I'm grateful also with less. If it's 2,000, it's fine. Right now I do 2,000 with one video editing retainer, and I will continue doing that.
Okay, so right now you're doing about 2K on a beginner, and 10K would take care of everything. Let's 10K can sometimes be overwhelming for people to put together. So let's, for this instance, do half that at 5K. 5K monthly would be still pretty phenomenal, I can imagine. And in general, let's say you're charging a $100 offer, right? You would only need about 50 people. That's not crazy. That's like a classroom, for example. Okay, cool. Any other outstanding big goals that you, if you could just like solve them right now, you would help people express creativity, make art school more accessible, empower other filmmakers, and 5K a month monthly for yourself?
Yeah, I think this is all pretty much related to the work I'm doing with aspiring artists and filmmakers, and not so much to the work with brands and clients. So I think this is something we talked about yesterday also, if that should be something that is tailored towards aspiring filmmakers, or also, let's say, my client who has a fashion handbag brand and just wants to learn about marketing and does not care about creativity, but cares more about how to increase their perceived value, maybe.
Okay,
so
great.
What is your take on that? Should that be like for both of these, because they function differently in the way what they wish for themselves, I guess?
Yeah, so we'll get that. We'll go ahead and do that right now. So this is the, let's just call this the 3 dubs. Okay, so this one is who, and now we're going to do, oh, sorry, this why, and now we're going to do who. All right, so you currently have 2 audiences. You have your corporate clients.
Yeah, and then I have like people like students, or people that just want to be more creative in their everyday life, aspiring filmmakers, aspiring film directors. And they are very different also from their social economical background.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. But usually when you're doing corporate, that's a DFY, right?
That's super done for you. They don't want to have anything to do with the creative stuff. They're really like, I'm doing storyboarding. I consult them on how they can maybe position themselves.
And students, you're just... Sorry, go ahead, finish.
No, students, it's also like I will just maybe name what I've been working on, who actually paid. I had one guy who just wanted to make better travel films. He was like a real estater, and like he was retired with 40. I think he made a lot of money actually, and then he wanted to just up-level his hobby skills to shoot like family films. And we met and we edited his stuff together. And then another student, she is having a full-time job now and wants to transition to freelance videography and wants to become a full-time filmmaker. Yeah, so there's also in the filmmaking thing, like this is probably also where I've been stuck, right? Because I'm trying to tackle so many people and I see that it's hard, but I think maybe we can find a way to to still embody
definitely.
that.
It's already there, actually. You don't even have to do very much. I was speaking with Mignon about something very similar, and maybe she can even explain it to you later. Mignon, you're here on the call, yeah? I think. Wait, where's my?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to ask you to explain it here in just a couple of minutes. You cool doing that? Oh, mic's back off.
Sorry, what?
I was going to ask you, I'm going to explain something, and then I'd like to hear your perspective on it briefly since we talked about it yesterday.
Okay.
All right, wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so students, you were saying, Jonas, is mostly you teach them to do it themselves? Or you do it with them?
So with the students, mostly I was running into them through the ad I'm doing on Instagram, and I had some calls with them, but usually their budget was not more than 35, and I don't have an offer for that until now. Maybe with the group I could. Yeah, but I usually just lost them, or they said like they will call back, and yeah.
Okay, that's perfectly fine.
So the students were great to work with, but it was also, they usually had a big time constraint because they were in something that was full-time. So they didn't have a lot of time to invest to do it for themselves, like DIY, but also not have a budget to do it done for you. But I loved working with them because they had like it was vibing.
Is it though a do-it-yourself? It would be a do-it-yourself or a done with you, right? Not done for you, because their budgets are quite low.
I think for this creative video workshop idea, it would be definitely do it yourself, kind of maybe together experience with done with you a bit, but I need to survive. I can't. Yeah.
Great.
I would do it for experiences, but it's not realistic to do it done for you for 30 euro or something, or 90.
Oh yeah, of course. That's definitely not the question here. I just want to make sure that we have exactly what's happening, because you've got, do it yourself, done with you, and done for you. Done for you is often your high ticket, and then your low ticket is usually a do it yourself. This is what I do. So the reason why that works very well here, and Mignon, after I explain this, maybe you can just chime in very quickly, is that means your corporate clients are your high ticket, right? This is, maybe I'll write it out so everyone can see. So your high ticket is what people would want, right? It'd be awesome. I'm sure a lot of people will say like, yeah, I would love to be able to do a video with Ferrari or Porsche's son, right? One of the family members of Porsche, right? Like that video that you made, or some of your corporate clients. So there's a desire there, right? Now, of course, there's going to be other things where you can teach them more fun, creative expressions, but we're going to start with this one for now. Is that cool? So here with the corporate clients, what's interesting is you can teach how you do that, and you can sell that as your student. Do it yourself, because you're already doing the service. So this doesn't change. You can keep doing that. You can keep talking about it. But what you're selling in this low ticket community, or in this case, in this free community, what you're preparing for is bringing them the low ticket. You're teaching them how to do it. So actually, both of these services become one and the same. Similar to what's going on in this call, right? We're basically taking everybody through my high ticket offer, but instead of charging for it, I'm just teaching you all how to do that. So either you can sell it or you can do it for yourself. Right? Does that make sense? Oh, and
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it does. So for the high ticket, I do full videography, video production, like storyboarding and shooting and editing. I do only editing as a retainer, which is 2,000 a month. And also one client now, we test something for €5,000 a month. It might start in February if it's going well, which is social media production of reels. And then we just do like 20 to 60-second reels of them walking with the handbags and stuff. And then this is the high ticket. And then
Well, you don't get too ahead of me just yet. Let's focus on just this, because we're going to get to the what in just a moment. I just want to make sure this part makes sense.
Maybe a question I would have is that as I said, like I really cared about my artwork. So this means it's not necessarily a product or service I'm having, but it is like my main, like if you want to call it positioning or something. So this is what I kind of put on my website, put on my socials, and this has been a big bottleneck for me to circle around actually having your income come from the video production, but then being a bit skeptical of showing that on your main channel. I can just send my main website.
Well,
It's
I
something
have an answer for you. Well, I want to get through this first before we get on to the next thing. I know where your head's at and where the concern is coming from. And what I can tell you. Sorry?
No, please go ahead. Yeah.
What I can tell you is that, again, from a artist's perspective who's gone through this process, what we're focusing on right here is largely how the thing is packaged, what the who, the what, the why. Those characteristics are what you understand for, are what people understand for when they're coming into your business, which effectively this is a business. Now, of course, there is an art element to all of these things, but you already put that here. This is your motivation. Your why is because you want to do those things. The who you're giving that to is something that's a little bit different, because this is where we have to be very, very specific. Now, I'll go over it and we'll keep going over it, because this is like this is probably one of two major roadblocks that will stop anyone on their entrepreneurial journey until they give up or until something crazy happens. They go, oh, it was right there and I didn't realize it. And what that is that your offer is not you, and it can't be. They'll never be the same. Until you've started having some degree of success, that you have the ability to just throw out random things, and even then it may bring in not necessarily who you're looking for. The reason why we do this is because people will only buy a handful of things. Those three: the health, wealth, relationships thing, which we've talked about many, many times. Health, wealth, and relationships. These are like core things. It's not like making friends in relationship category. It's like finding your fucking soulmate. Everyone would pay for that. Everyone will pay to make more money, and everyone will pay to get abs or find more fitness or health. And every other offer, largely, I mean, this is like 99% true, and we're shooting for the 80-20 here. So that's going to mean that we have to package all of the things offer-wise into one of those three. And if you don't, that's where most of the error comes from. So in this case, when we're discussing teaching students how to learn how to do what you do with corporate, that's what gets people interested, because it's one of those three things that people will buy. But you're always trying to speak the language of what they want coming in, because you sell what they want so you can give what they need. You don't change your offer. You don't change your service. You keep doing exactly the stuff that you want. And you only need to have, maybe you only have one or two things that have to do with corporate clients, but you're teaching them so much more than just that one thing. But very few people will ever buy learning to do the art of filmmaking as opposed to learning to make 5K doing filmmaking. That is two really big differences. Plus, let's say it's some kid and they're like, here are these two courses, mom and dad, which one can I get? They'll always say, obviously, the one that makes you money. Everyone, when they're doing a money exchange, will look through this lens, and it's only temporary. It's just for that one part. And then after that moment, everything else is acceptable. And so, you know, I will come back and revisit this once in a while, but just make sure that you remember throughout this whole process that the offer part, which is largely what we'll be doing at the beginning, should not have very much to do with you. That's why anchor offers are a thing. That makes sense?
It does.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Mignon, Could you please explain from your perspective what this meant to you when we talked about it yesterday? I know it wasn't like high ticket, low ticket, but we were combining two things that you thought were different.
Yeah, well, it was. I thought that that I have actually two hearts that are in my body, and two ways of or two ways that I love to work with. And one way was quite technical, and the other way was on emotional stuff. And yeah, what I learned yesterday was that I do not actually have to decide which thing I have to do first, or either or. It's actually I learned from yesterday that I have a way to decide. I do the one thing first that I think is the one thing that my audience really knows that they need and want right now, and the other thing is something that they will ask for eventually, and they will ask for it eventually, and that made it quite clear for me. Is that understandable at all?
Yeah, very well said. I know exactly what you mean. Interestingly enough, this is one of those situations where even though you're in a completely different market doing completely different things, that's the same exact thing that both of you were dealing with you yesterday and us with Jonas today. Really good. Thank you very much, Manu. Really quick, is anyone having any trouble with Jonas's mic? I know there's been a lot of feedback that keeps bouncing through. Is everyone cool with that, or do we need to? I'm happy to fix it.
It's good.
Yeah, it's all good? Okay, cool. All right, cool. So any other questions you have about this stage, Jonas?
Yeah, but maybe it's not the right moment to ask it. But I was just wondering, instead of catering towards aspiring filmmakers, I could, in theory, also cater something towards the agency clients. Like, let's pretend a course creator who's not comfortable with recording that whole setup thing, because they are not, like, my client asked me which cameras to buy and so on. Then I was just telling them. But no, I think and it's just a thought, like, because for them, they don't have an issue paying 30 euros, and I know that the students do have an issue paying 30 euros.
Yes, yep, that's right. So yeah, that would basically be the decision-making process of what you'd like to do there. Based off of what you've told me here, your why, I think you will want to figure out how to make the student one work, because the students will still have money, but you have to have a really clear offer. And so far you haven't been pitching make 5K, but I'm sure they would love to work with you, and you keep doing exactly what you're doing, but without the right offer, it won't work. Are you with me?
Yeah, just also like a short moment to thank you everybody for the comments and so on. I'm reading with them. Yeah, it's nice
Wonderful.
to chat with them.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I didn't even see it. Wow, so many comments. Love this. Okay. So my recommendation is based off of your why, which this is why we do it at the beginning. You're going to be starting with the student and then teaching the student. Well, I guess I already have it highlighted there, but you're going to teach the student how to do what you do with corporate. But that will be the offer. Everything else will be what you actually want to deliver, which is the art of filmmaking and things of that nature. Okay, so then we're going to go to the what. So one of them that we know for a fact is how to get, we'll say 5K a month with videography. All right, and you want to teach also the art of filmmaking, right? Do you have another way of saying that? Filmmaking, or something else that you want?
I'm just browsing through a type form that I have where I was running like a research for that. So I will look into what they said and send. I'm cool with filmmaking, like independent filmmaking or something. Can I?
That would be a cool niche, independent filmmaker. Because creative video workshop, that's not necessarily niche, but independent filmmaker is independentified.
I'm sending you the responses they had in the type form as an Excel.
Okay, let me find it.
So I was running testings for learn to create professional films from home in 90 days, no film school or expensive gear needed, and then specialization course in film editing, workflow, and storytelling, and freelancing for filmmakers, learn the business side of filmmaking, including client communication and brand building to connect with ideal clients. And it's 50-50 between learn the filmmaking and get the clients thing. And
okay, learning filmmaking and getting clients. Okay, lovely. So, I mean, I think our answer here is that we're going to be doing both. So how to with landing clients and the art of independent. Someday I'll spend this right in D. Oh, that's why. Filmmaking. Okay, beautiful. So am I gonna, I just feel stupid here. Okay, so now we have these two what's. This is based off of the feedback that they were providing as well, right? So is there anything outside of this that you're thinking?
I'm just sharing something with you, which is like my mind map that I have for collecting their needs and desires. We can just browse it through. I sent it in the Skool. I hope you can open it. And it's all of their problems, kind of. So which microphones, which gimbal, which SD cards are acceptable, so equipment questions, and then also things like how to know your purpose in filmmaking, getting craft confidence for making their films, getting creative confidence, how to feel more comfortable with film and video, defining them as a filmmaker for themselves, and that's 1, 5, and 10-year plan, kind of. So this is like a mindset thing. And then it goes to video post-production. Should I just share my screen? You think that's a good idea?
No. This is okay. Thank you for sending this. Go ahead and finish your explanation, and then I'll tell you where we'll go.
And this has been the process that I've tried to like clarify, compose, check, assemble. So I was trying to make this prototype, but somehow it got a bit too. Yeah, I was not able to decide on one clear name. There was a big roadmap because all of these funnels I tried to build, and when you switch the names, it's a mess. And then clients were confused. I was confused.
Yeah. So what you're looking at is exactly the rabbit hole that people will usually fall into. This is what kills the entrepreneurship thing at the very beginning, is what we're looking at right now. Everyone thinks that this is the way that you go through it, by building the thing and then delivering it to the people. And the way it actually is, you get people, you ask them what their problem is, you fix the thing with them, and then you keep going. That way you avoid this entire process, because you'll do this.
And here on the right, is something, where a bit up. No, a bit more up. A bit more. Yeah, a bit more here. This is kind of a bit of a distillated version of their problems. So it's structured into storytelling, prose, cinematography, production, filmmaking.
It reminds me so much of me, because I did shit like this forever. I was so, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people here agree, like we've all done this, and it hasn't culminated into anything because it was just us against our own minds.
Yeah, it's hard to get started on it.
The important thing to remember here is that this information is pretty much accessible everywhere in the world. However, it only ever comes down to how it's packaged, how it's delivered. And that's the hard part. So without a particular focal point to be aiming that towards, like a client or a person or a beta client, something like that, this will just spiral. So this is great. I love that you've done it. You've clearly thought about it, but we are going to completely ignore all of that for now. We're just going to go straight.
I'm happy with that. Like,
yeah.
Let's just go on.
All right, beautiful. So, is this all of it? The what? How to land 5K a month, and then the art of filmmaking? That's it, right? No other deliverables? Like major categorical deliverables?
Oh, I need to think about it. I think.
Well, let's do this. Let's assume for now. I'm trying to accelerate the process because this is going to be a very long one, and believe me, your head is going to be absorbing some of these things for a bit longer after. We're taking the process that often people go through in years and putting it into like a couple of hours. So there will be a lot here that you're just being torn through at light speed. And if it's uncomfortable, that's to be expected.
No. I'm comfortable with it because I was running between 5 to 20,000, but not consistently. I think this would be something that I would like to solve myself first, but I was running these months. So I'm okay with teaching that. Art of independent filmmaking I like because that kind of speaks also to people who want to do short films, documentary films, even YouTube, and like in a way that is artistic and accessible, because it's not big cinema films, but more like films with a small crew that are like shot without heavy gear. So I think it's nice.
Okay.
And
now, you mentioned something that's really important. I'm going to put one more note here at the bottom, which is that most people, you just mentioned it, was really good that you did. Most people will assume they need to have achieved the thing in life in order to teach it. So, for example, you have clients that you're teaching at this high ticket level, and so you can certainly do that. But even you are a little bit hesitant and nervous. Let's assume that you didn't have any high ticket clients, but you've been working on it for a period of time. The way that this actually works is the people that struggle with the thing are often the best teachers. So the best teachers are not the ones that have succeeded in the problem. They're the ones that have struggled with it the most, because it's always difficult to solve the problem for yourself. It is much easier to have that experience and solve that problem for others.
I agree with that, actually.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Always easier to solve others than yourself. So the fact that you've just spent the time there is the most important. Okay, so what you have here is probably, I mean, shit, this took me years to get this degree of clarity on so much information. So what you have here, if you can just like hold on to this, digest this, anyone who's watching this, make one of these fucking things for yourself. This is going to be foundational for the entire build afterwards. This is one of the things that oftentimes gets forgotten when you're trying to make money online, is why you're doing it, who you're going to need to talk to, what exactly you're going to be delivering, and why you're even certified to do it in the first place. You just have to give yourself permission. Okay, so we're going to post this here. This is now live. This is the three W's that you have gone through. Let's go ahead and add you in there. Perfect. All right, great. So this is super, super helpful. How are you feeling about that so far? Not too painful?
No.
Wonderful.
I'm
Wow.
glad I ignored the notes actually, because it's a lot of text. It's more.
Yes. Yeah, it's a ton. And so just getting away from all that stuff is what's going to help give you the clarity for it, because you always, always, always have to go through it from the perspective of the client, not you. Okay. All right. Oh, J-Man's in there. All right. So then from this point, before we move on to the next thing, does anyone have any questions about what we just did? It's a pretty big process. So if you do, that makes sense. This would be a good time to ask before we move on. Cool. All right. Beautiful.
I do have questions.
Yeah, please.
So firstly, I'm following this as we go. So I've written down who I'm targeting, and I'll read it out to you. So it's people that have 10,000 or more subscribers in the educational niche, or make more than $20,000 a month. They must have long-term commitment to content creation, and they must be winners. Is that clarified enough, or should I go in deeper?
No, I think I would just use the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, just the first one, because the other two are not very tangible. You'll find that out. But if they're paying if they're paying good money for the service, then you don't really need to have any of the other things. I'm assuming this is a DFY offer, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in that case, if they got the money, fucking great, you're good. It would be great if you had people at that other level, of course. I mean, I think anyone would ask of that, but make sure that it's as tangible as possible. And if you have more than a couple of points, then just try and dial it in.
The reason I must have long-term commitment is because I would work at least like a minimum contract of 3 months, because if they're not going to do that for 3 months, they're not going to get the results anyways. So I think it's important. Do you think I should still remove it?
I would still remove it because we're just focusing on hyper clarity. It's still relevant, certainly, but I don't think it's the 80%. I think the 80% is the first note.
Cool, I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Mignon, you had a question?
How often would you adjust that? Or, the 3 Ws?
Great question. Once you have gone through and you have started getting beta clients, once you've gone through that process, you do this, you build it out, you bring some people in, you walk them through the process, you film the whole thing, and you upload that and get the testimonials from them. Once you've done that series, go to town. Reevaluate. Did you enjoy that process? Did they get a result? If you've done all those things and you feel good about those two, awesome. You can now reevaluate this or niche it down if you want to. That's your opportunity, because at that point, you have hard data where you didn't before. Is that helpful? Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. All right. Anyone else? Cool. All right, then let's proceed. Now we get into, the shittiest part for entrepreneurship. Oh, this sucks so much. I cannot wait to do it. This is great. Okay, so we're going to go in. We are going to edit the offer. The offer on Skool, at least. I appreciate this layout more than other places because it does a good job, Skool does a good job of making sure that what you do and your offer are separate categories. So the reason why I say it, so the description usually goes down here, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this is where you talk about what you do. Like in some degree of detail, other little kernels, it can be a lot, it can be a little whatever. But here, it's just your offer. Your offer comes down to 3 points usually, which is like what you're doing for people in what amount of time, without a cost. I mean, there's a little bit of variation there. Get 6-pack abs in 30 days without dieting. Everyone would buy that. So what we're going to do here is implement what's called an anchor offer. Remember, offers should not have anything to do with you, and anchor offers even less so. So let me go ahead and go in here to general. So the reason why anchor offers have so little to do with you is because it's an offer that is market tested. It has all of the elements of what would create a really good offer, meaning it will work for anyone, even you. And so from that point, that is where you get out of the minutia, the part of trying to identify what offer might work that addresses the needs of the clients, but also tells them that this is what you want to do and it encompasses all of who you are. There's nothing that will do that. It will never happen. And the only time you'll ever get close is usually after you've thought about it for a really fucking long time, which I do not recommend, or like a really long time. Like we're talking months of trial and error. Okay, no fucking joke. Or you take an anchor offer, the one that you know works for everybody, you run with it and make it work for yourself, and then you reevaluate it, just as Mignon said, at the end of that process, at the end of your first beta client process. Okay, does that make sense, Jonas? Okay.
It does, because it takes the pressure of having like just one headline, like it would be on a landing page that is the do or don't decision then, but takes it more in a soft realm.
Yes, exactly. You're referring to the. Yep, that's right. So yesterday we put one together, and I'll go ahead and see. I don't remember what it was, but I'm going to, and don't remind me, I'm just going to go ahead and make one right here fresh. So videography was your big one. Let me go ahead and get back into it here. Great. So let's look at this. Videography, teaching people how to. Okay, great. Get. With video. Videography jobs. Make 5K. Videography. What was? Let's see. You look here. Oh, I already wrote a better version of it here. Actually, let's just use this. Okay.
Yeah, also like independent filmmaking more as posted, but I can see that maybe videographers are more out there because it sounds a bit.
Yeah, remember, this will also capture the attention of independent filmmakers. And they're not going to be buying an independent filmmaker course, not in any large number. You always get like an anomaly here and there, but we're not counting on anomalies. What we're doing is we're looking for what people will actually buy, and they will buy money. Health, wealth.
No, I just think like get 5K per month landing. Feel, yeah, I mean, I just speak my mind like cinematic film clients or something, but videography is not a big deal. Yeah, but it's not a real. This is also a big problem I'm having, that I overcomplicate the things then, because it's not a big decision to take between videography and cinematic films or something. But then
yeah, I mean,
that has been a problem in the past, kind of.
Well,
yeah,
a good friend of mine, this is often really good, is to test what's in the market. A good friend of mine, he's actually in this community. Sawyer, he's got a couple million on YouTube, and this is his: teaching photographers and videographers how to build profitable and sustainable multi-six-figure businesses. Okay. So videography definitely counts here, and if you're teaching how to build a profitable six-figure business, you could basically take some of those things and take the core elements of that and make a nice streamlined one, because he has had success, so he can be a little bit more flexible with his offer, even though it is very good. It's a bit verbose. So in this case, get 5K a month landing videography clients. I think that would encompass most of the same thing here.
Yeah, I think he's more tailored towards YouTubers and creators, and in my ideal world, I would speak rather to people that want also to go to festivals, but do YouTube. But yeah, anyhow, I got stuck, so let's just solve something, and I'm good.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean.
Let
me think for a second. Get back in.
Yeah.
Let's just call it video clients. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Remember, this is an anchor offer. Oftentimes, what you will have here is you can put without. What's the biggest thing?
Film and video clients, and then I think we're good. And then get 5K per month letting film and video clients, without selling out, or big
Well, that was
personal.
to the artist. We want to talk about the. Let's assume we're imagining just one guy who's trying desperately to make money doing it, but he's running into one thing. He used to love the art of it, but now he needs to put money on the table. Sorry, food on the table for his family, and he's got 1 week to do it. What's the problem?
Without big investment, like probably this
Oh,
person would not be able
yeah.
to run big ads and have.
I forgot about that. You said it yesterday. Without you said something about the gear.
Without fancy equipment.
That's it. That's it. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and usually what also some people said they want is learn filmmaking from scratch, but I think it caters also to somebody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get
Those
a month
would be,
filming.
yeah, those would be supplemental offers in there, but this is good. So $5K a month. It's not huge. It's believable. Landing film and video clients. It talks to both audiences that you're discussing, and without fancy equipment that most people think that they need all this shit. And it like we were talking about yesterday. Sorry?
It's good. Yeah.
Okay. And like we were talking about yesterday, this fancy equipment thing is the equivalent of you coming in to teach people online and being like, I need a badass course. I need all this experience. I need to like have all of this proof and stuff. No, you don't need any of that shit. You can do all of it without fancy equipment. This is true industry. This is true worldwide. Okay. So we're going to update that. Boom. You now have a very, very clear. Oh, there's one thing missing, actually. This is super important.
How to what?
Nope. An emoji.
Cool.
I'll get more into that later on when we're doing, it doesn't show up as much on dark mode, but most people are not on dark mode because most people are stupid. So when it comes to things like when you're presenting, when you're marketing, in school and other places, I don't know if this will ever fall out of fashion unless you overuse it, but emojis are an absolute must. You want to make sure, especially in elements of community, that you are communicating a levity, an accessibility, a relatableness in everything that you do. And this little fucking thing actually makes a really big difference. They may not even be aware of it, but you'll see the results in your audience.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we'll go ahead and write this up here. But this is the about page. So this is where you get to have a bit more flexibility, where this is very, very strict. This one is a bit more relaxed, where you're just like, yeah, you'll get this, you get this, you get this, any of those things. So let's start, try and categorize your thoughts as best you can, but we're going to start just generally with you. I'd like you to throw out 3 things that they will get in this community, only 3.
So to begin with, one-on-one feedback on their work and current marketing, or like I would probably first meet with them and see like what work they are already doing and who they could ideally work for. Because some people they want to get adding, like they could identify kind of their ideal audience or customer without being like too specific, so that they can still like cater to lots of fields, but they could uncover their artistic style, rather they would more be like a cinematic filmmaker or like a fast-paced fashion videographer or something. And like what I would also do is give them, I don't have it right now, but like I would plan to give them storyboard templates and invoice templates and sales pitches that they could just use to write cold emails, and I would give them an introduction to my personal sales process, probably, which is is here, that I collect leads from Google Leads. I have like a tool for that, and then you can do like Course Creator Berlin or something, and we have the lists. Yeah, so and then you can just, I mean, you know that all, but get the contact, call them, but many people don't know it and then put it into a lead quiz, like lead system here, and follow up. I think this is the main thing I would probably teach them in the first place, if you're going to get 5K per month.
Okay, so you said
confidently approach clients and who they could work with.
So this was one-on-one feedback and templates, is that correct?
Templates for storyboards and sales scripts.
Okay.
And
for getting leads, scripts, and what was the last one?
I think Sarah hit a point, like just get the tools for them to get themselves out there in a authentic manner.
Okay. Then we'll just leave with the most important thing, the leads. All right, and give me one more thing.
Maybe the templates. You're right, Sarah. It's not the most important part. It's not really solving the problems. I would like what I gave the people that work with me. They said to me was creative confidence. Then just alone the idea that they can cold call somebody, like they didn't really know that.
So let me take that and ring it out a little bit. So confidence, that's a really popular one that will show up a lot, but it is meaningless. So we have to take it one step further. What gives people confidence? Usually, and that's the category that we're on. I don't know if I announced it, but we're doing the clarity part. There's for a free community, there's 6 steps to it, and clarity is the first part. And in clarity, the whole point is to basically go through and make sure that you know exactly what the who, what, where, why, all of that stuff, so that you can move forward, because you don't want to alter the foundation. So when we talk about this section in particular, this is a very, very good example. When you're talking about confidence or something fluffy, one step forward is usually clarity on those ones, knowing what to do and having the courage to then do it. So in this case, the thing that, maybe I'll just ask, what's something that gives people clarity? And this is to everybody. What is a thing that gives people clarity when they're trying to figure out how to do something?
Like a roadmap or something.
Yes, fucking exactly. And you can customize and tailor whatever you want to call it, but full...
Something that I always had for the prototypes was get ideal clients, improve your craft, realize your artistic vision. And then I had a very catchy website for this. Become a better filmmaker. Hi, my name is Jonas. I help people make better movies, improve their craft, and attract the clients they deserve. If you're a filmmaker struggling to find clients, bring your vision to life, or are stuck in craft or creativity, apply for a choose your own price coaching call and get your answers. And then at the same sentence. And who I can help: people seeking to start a YouTube channel and lack ideas, experience, and skills, entrepreneurs and employers wanting to work with video, independent filmmakers wanting to craft complex narratives, independent filmmakers, photographers, and videographers stuck connecting with the audience and getting ideal clients, bloggers, podcasts, influencers seeking to create better reels and stories. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I think filmmaker roadmap is going to be that thing. A to Z filmmaker roadmap. All right. And then just for kicks and giggles, let's do one more. What's one other thing that they could get? Something that these are all really good categories. We'll dial them in, but as they are now, they're good. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's see if we can come up with one more. And if anyone has a suggestion for Jonas, go ahead and shout it out.
I would go for the community and for feedback from like-minded people.
There you go. Great point.
Yeah, community.
Yep.
Community is the killer part of it.
Yep. Cool. I'm glad you guys brought it up. Exactly. Thanks, Diana. Thank you, Joe. So community.
And feedback from like-minded people. So it's literally like that exchange, what they can do, just like with themselves. And where they can grow together, where they can see how far they are, like how they do in comparison, all those things. Like people who want to go for something like that, they want to show up, so they need an audience.
Yep, that's absolutely right. Wonderful. Thank you, Diana.
If you also want to take some more time, you can go and look at other people's landing pages. Like I know 14-Day Filmmaker does this. I'm dropping the link in the chat.
Wonderful. All right, let me go ahead and pull it up here.
So you can look at these landing pages of competitors that are already doing this stuff, and they've tested this for years with ads and like with people. So you'll get something that is converting, that really strikes nerves, basically.
Okay. Cool. Love that. Yeah, let's definitely save that, because yeah, there's going to be a whole phase here, Jonas, where we'll be going through and just stealing all of these things that we know work out there in the industry. And because the strategy is, and I think I mentioned this one yesterday, you want to as often as possible steal, iterate, and then of course from the creative and all of us, always thank the people that you're stealing the shit from. Steal, modify, thank. Love that. Thank you very much, Mon. This is great. Okay. It looks like so anyone who's been in the chat, I'm sorry, I cannot read them while I'm sharing. If you could go ahead and just shout those things out. Let me get back over to here. Okay, great. What else was there? We had a couple of people suggest a couple of things.
I think I said resource guide, because I would be looking for the guide that's got all the tools and software and everything like that that I need.
Mm.
Or a toolkit, like a filmmaker's toolkit that includes the resources and the guides and all the tools and things that you may need.
Stack templates.
I had in the comment, instead of ABIS set roadmap, something like a one-on-one, how you know what to do and how. So like, because like the A to Z roadmap, that is, I like roadmap, but that is for planning out a business. And if that is still do it yourself, that might be overwhelming for them. But like that 101, so that is clear, it's a starter thing. You know what you do and how.
Oh, like a starter course or a 101 beginners course or a start from scratch course that's included or something like that.
Mm.
Exactly. So I mentioned literally like the one-on-one. So it's literally like you get everything from the beginning. So either you will be reconfirmed, you do right, or you are very sure you don't miss out, or you really can start with that. So you could cover all three levels with that easily. Nobody, even if he or she is already kind of experienced, would mind a one-on-one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Cool. All right. So that you're referring to this, yeah? Diana?
Sorry. Yeah, 101. That means like literally like those how-to guides. 101. There is just like it's a common name.
Oh, got you. Okay, like a
college 101, 102, college.
Yeah, and we talked about this before, actually, starting.
Yeah, filmmaking fundamentals, something maybe.
Perfect. Now, this doesn't exist yet, and you're not going to make it before, you're going to make it with beta clients.
Yeah, but you can do that as documentation, can't you?
Mm-hmm. That's right. All right, wonderful. That's great. So now, let's get a statement that has to do about this fancy equipment. What would you say about some kid who's been saving up for 2 years to buy this really fancy camera so that he can get started filming? What would you tell him, Jonas?
Can you repeat? I was just texting something. What?
So what would you tell a kid who has been spending the last 2 years saving up for a really fancy camera so that he can start filmmaking? What would you tell him? Other than you're stupid.
I think it would depend on what kinds of films they seek to do. I think there's like a minimal amount of gear they need if they want to work with clients just because they get paid for it. But if they do something independent, I think they really could use their phone or whatever
Yeah,
they
so
have
let's say
and make this creative constraint, like even like a challenge. If you just have a webcam, how can you make a film that is just shot on a webcam, right? That is like maybe about surveillance or something, and then make that disadvantage a strength. I think I would advise that.
So what would you say specifically about fancy equipment though?
I
you don't
think it is any pretty shiny object, but there are some tools that make sense if you want to do like an anamorphic lens, for example, that is like the the cinema look. You can get it even on an iPhone for 100 euros or something, and that could make sense if you really plan for that look. But then it would be needed that you have a reason to want that look. But don't get distracted by fancy equipment. Yeah, it's a story that makes it in the end. And there have been like, you can't really buy authenticity. Like I think you first need to have something that you can showcase in a way that it's regardless of the quality, and then that can up level. But even sometimes films that are like too polished, they lack something, and this is why I navigate towards this independent filmmaking field, because there are like films that are shot with like very SD low quality films, but still have like a certain vibe and like an aesthetic. And yeah, I like film grain for that reason also, because it's not perfect. There's this Japanese concept, like when you like break something and you fix it together with gold. And I think I like that also for not perfect gear.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So do you think that's a good embodiment of it? Don't get distracted by fancy equipment. You can become a full-time filmmaker now.
That's a good copy, I think.
Okay.
The truth is it will take them a while. They need to build a portfolio first. And this is like, they need to do something either for free, where they work with, but they can do it, but it's not gonna be now. I think there's at least 3 months. It's not the 90-day break, but like I think it would take 3 months at least. They gotta do some free work for clients if they wanna do like build a show reel. They will need to do something for free to test the waters a bit, and they can't get paid the first day if they never shot it's not realistic. I think I would not do it myself. That's it.
Yeah.
I would first test it, and then if I have a proof, it's like the same you're doing with building a testimonial. Like you have the proof already, it's different. But if you start out as a filmmaker without any proof and you immediately demand money, I think that's not a good idea. Like then you're not solving a problem for the client. But what I can give them is this shift that that they actually have value they bring to the client, which is like hiding their perceived value, making them seen, telling their story. So just being aware of the value they're bringing, I think this is I can give them.
Wonderful. Okay.
Through the
Do you
proof
think
that you can
adequately-
get.
Do you think that's adequately represented here?
Don't get distracted by fancy. You can become a full-time filmmaker now. One-to-one full. I mean, it's better than the things that I have nailed so far. I think something I would miss, but that might maybe also work out during time, is like a concrete goal of that whole thing. Because then I'm again stuck with where I am now, that people like to work with me, get some creative inputs, and they maybe have then later a good idea where they're heading. Yeah, but it's never like this. If it was like a shooting, like a black hole, but that might take time, and
it's all right.
Yeah, it would be like I always think, okay, is there like one problem that thing solves, and then maybe correct me if that's the wrong mindset. Like finish your first film, or get your first paying client, or finish like a website that you're comfortable with, and brand yourself in a way that feels authentic to you. So I think the stuff that I would buy would probably be related to tangible results.
That's right. There you go.
Yeah. This feels still, yeah.
Beautiful. Love that. Diana,
I mean, I'm confident I get them the first client if they have skills already in 2, 3, 4 weeks.
Wonderful. Okay. Yeah. Diana, you had a
But
question?
they have to work like.
Hello?
Yep. We can hear you.
Okay. The only thing I would just ask you, Jonas, the one-on-one feedback, would you like to make that personal feedback from Jonas himself? Because one-on-one sounds like one-on-one sessions, and for a free community, that could easily be exhausting, and it could be in a group setup where you just give direct feedback in person.
Yeah.
Where all the others could also learn from the same feedback. So you would be more
like
flexible.
A group call every 2 weeks.
Yeah, just make it personal feedback from Jonas himself. So that could be a group call, and it's not offering like one-on-one service in a free community. That sounds even, I don't know, it sounds strange or off balance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very good point. So I'd love to explain that. Usually, the best kind of onboarding is a one-on-one thing, right? Mm-hmm. Usually. However, and a lot of times people will combine that with like a sales call or whatever else. Regardless, a good onboarding session is usually a one-on-one. But you're right. I always say the number one thing that you will want to do is offer one-on-ones because it's what people want. But since when do we ever know what we want? Diane is absolutely correct. The most bang for the buck from the teacher and from the student is always group sessions. There's less pressure on the individual. There's less pressure on the teacher. And there's an ongoing conversation where people are sharing a lot of things that are often directly relevant. So we sell the one-on-one because you will actually have a one-on-one. It doesn't say ongoing. And then from that point on, so this is a strategy that I have seen before, and it does work. And then as you go on, you just you put them into group settings, and that actually ends up being, unless there's something in particular, in which case they can DM you and be like, hey, I really want to just have you privately. There's some like personal matter I have, whatever. The best environment is where people are comfortable with that community sharing even the vulnerable stuff, because all of us have those vulnerable things going on. And so it ends up making a very, very good community. And this is a good introduction to it, because you sell them what they want and then you give them what they need. Did I explain that okay?
Maybe like a welcome or something that is like, yeah, but I mean, it's also changeable.
You could also do like an audit, a one-on-one audit, because that would get you started, and then immediately you'd be like, all right, so now I'm going to put you in some group settings with other people that are having the same troubles. So feedback, audit, whatever you want to. Yeah. Cool. Diana, did I explain that okay?
It was not a question. It was more or less like just wondering how to balance it out, and how to understand that. Actually, I like the audit way better, because that is like literally something that you do initially. Feedback one-on-one would assume like all those intense loops, and you just need to have 2-3 people who start expecting that, and then it could create strange dynamics.
Great point. Yeah, so audit, I agree with you. Audit is a great way to do it. Cool. William, did you have a question?
Yeah, not a question, more a comment. Yeah. So with regard, and this isn't about the About page, Jonas, so if I was somebody that never did video before, as an example, but I got a brand new iPhone, here's what I would suggest: that you create a video that tells these people that have never done video before, what are you passionate about? Like, do you love skateboarding? Go hang out at a skateboard park and film it, and maybe give them like 3 or 4 pointers of take this shot as an opening shot, take this shot as a body shot, take this shot as your closing shot. And that'll give them like a starting point, right? Because, you know, I think you could also do that in your questions when they join, your join questions. What is your passion, right? And so if you drill down into their passion, like it could be surfing, it could be any number of things, roller skating, right? They like roller skating. Take an opening shot of a roller skate, right? And then take a shot of some people roller skating and then do a cool close. I think if you have a video that explains that right to the point, if you've never done video, I will show you how, and it's really easy. Here's the 3-step process. Does that make sense?
It does, as a first quick win, kind of. They enter, then they have immediately something to work on that is remote, because then they can upload the footage. Do you mean that? That they just
yeah, because it gives now, you were talking about if they are gonna land a client. I've been in video broadcasting for 37 years. If they're gonna have a client, right, or get a client, like you said, they need a reel. Well, how do they get a reel, right? If I've never done video before, I don't know anything about it, how do I make a reel that I can show a client? So that's where I think if you drill down into their passion right away, and that's in your questions, you already know, oh, you really love baking. Well, why don't you go down to the local baker that you like get your coffee at every morning and do a 3-shot or a 4-shot quick short video, and that will give them an entryway. Okay, and that's my comment.
Wonderful, thank you, William.
Right.
Yeah, Jonas, would you like to add that? How would you phrase that? William, if you'd like to suggest a way to, I'm all ears. I'd love to hear how you would put it, William.
Yeah, it'd be like, never done video before. Hit my 4-step process to learn how to land your next client or your first client.
Thanks, William.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And then make it like a little challenge, maybe, where they have like 1 week to shoot their first video and edit it.
Yeah, that's a great idea. You know, and then maybe do a little walkthrough of basic video editing. So the more information you can provide in video doesn't take, you know, your one-on-one time away. And I think that's what they were getting at previous, was like, if you were trying to do one-on-one with everybody that comes in the door and you get 500 people, you got no time left. But to create a quick 3-minute video won't take you very long at all to walk through like basic video editing concepts in, you know,
I think it's great.
Yeah.
And it takes off the pressure of having like a real script and taking care to collect people, because it's, but a very simple process to walk through the whole process of editing and how to export the settings. I mean, they struggle with really simple things, and that could be like the...
Well, the other thing you might want to offer as a part of your toolkit is start them out, if they've never done video before or editing before, start them out in CapCut. Don't start them out with Final Cut or Adobe Premiere, right? Start them out with something simple like CapCut.
Or iMovie, or I don't use CapCut. I could get used to it probably, but it's a good idea to work with simple tools. I would recommend them, even DaVinci, because it's free, but that was my plan. But you're right that even like a more super basic tool could take the pressure away from them, which is then
why I suggested CapCut is you can do it on your phone, right? You can edit right on your phone.
I'm just not a real expert with CapCut. I never used it, so but I can get used to it, I guess. But that would probably change a bit, like the audience that because I wanted to have them work with Premiere Pro and Final Cut, but I can see your point. that it's
Right. If
for
I've
this
never
program.
video, listen, I use Final Cut every day to do broadcasting news. Okay, international news program. That's my job. And if I was never done video before in my life, I would like be lost in Final Cut or Premiere. Even with guidance, I'd be completely lost. And so that's why something simple where they drop it in, they get their graphics, they do their little transitions, they drop in their lower thirds or something like that, right? And it's super quick and simple.
Yeah.
They need a simple process. Now, somebody that's already been doing video for a while and already experienced with Adobe or Final Cut, that's different. That's a whole different video course, right? Or introduction. But I think I think that it broadens your capability and your scope to bring people in that have a desire to be filmmakers but don't know where to start.
Yeah, and it's a free community, which means that is probably like appropriate to teach these skills in a free community.
That's right.
Yeah, cool.
So, wonderful. Okay.
Great feedback.
One last thing here, Diana. You had something else?
There is from Joseph and myself comments in the chat exactly about that. You could make it even a little challenge, like those easy steps to get the first video and like literally like how to get to that video for the audit. For the initial audit, then you make the story just like round.
Great. Okay. What would you? How would you
feedback on your work, kind of, right? In that sense. So you make the video, and then the audit is kind of the final feedback.
If you have something already, you can ask for an audit for that one. But like if you never started, there is like an easy started challenge to get that very first video that you can make the audit with. That also gives you the chance to, I would say, like breathe a little bit. Like you could have plenty of people, but the audits only will come if the people have actually material.
Great. I would probably swap this out. So say something here, maybe up at the top, and we would retitle it to say what exactly?
It could be like make your first video challenge.
Ah, okay.
Or step-by-step video challenge, whatever.
What would you like to call it, Jonas?
Something that is pretty common to use is make like a miniature film. People do that like as tests, either of equipment or teams, or just to get started to make like a film that is actually just the like a 30-second representation that could go on towards a film. So it's a real scene, but just as a miniature film. So it shows a scene, like one action maybe, or one documentary scene, and then, but it does not go on. So it's not a coherent narrative. But
and the charm of that is you have something everybody in that community can do and work on, regardless of where they are.
I think that's nice. Pretty great. Also because like a miniature is in theory like a final film, so when you would extend it, you could like make a more coherent, bigger film, which could lead to the second program, kind of. So you do the miniature film, confident with that, and
yeah, that's beautiful. Wonderful feedback. Clear on that for also letting us know what is in the chat. I can't see the chat, so this is perfect. All right, lovely. There is one final thing missing, but it is not words. What is missing from this? 10 points to whoever gets it.
Emojis.
Damn right. 10 points to you, motherfucker. That was great. Okay. So let's do something silly, like a little running character.
There was a comment which is beginner friendly, which I think is great to add from Alicia.
There's beginner friendly. You want to include that somewhere?
I think it would be good. Without prior experience. Become a full-time filmmaker now without prior experience.
Beautiful. All right, full stack templates. Oh, that's a temple. page. That looks good. Filmmaker roadmap. Put a little car. Do you want a blue car or a red car?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, no, you have to pick a color.
Blue.
There we go. That's what I like to hear. All right. Community of like-minded people. Oops. All right, we'll do, let's see. Yeah, why not? This looks good. Okay. Oh no, I have an even better one. This is hands are always a good look. Waving hands. Wonderful. Okay.
Actually, I can't wait to send this to the people in this Instagram ad that keep replying if they can get more info. And I'm not, yeah, I know I had something to send to them.
Beautiful, exactly. And so that yesterday, one of the things that we were discussing, just so everyone has a little bit of back context, was the idea that Jonas came up. He had, how many websites do you have?
I mean, I really like, I had a trauma that once I wanted to get a website and it was taken because I did not buy it. And then I have like maybe 10 domains secured now, but over the last 5 years. And yeah, I want to get rid of them actually.
Okay, so after this call, Jonas, I'm going to give you a homework assignment. If you could, please, in this community, make a post with all of the things that you were showing me before. All of the websites that you had, right? And all of the, and maybe some of the video pieces you had too. The videos are really interesting because the rest of us will be able to get a sense for what's going on. But then also the websites, it's a really good insight into just how much a person can, without clarity, just be doing circles, producing the same thing, thinking, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working?
Yeah, it was always kind of the same version, but then I think I kept changing tools and platforms a lot because then I ran into a problem with WordPress and the tools crashed or the plugins no more work together, and then
Yep,
I don't like click files, so yeah, I was always trying to find tools that don't like blow my money away, kind of. So
yep, I hear you.
And yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, and the wonderful thing about this is now it's all in one place. So we have just effectively created everything minus a cover photo to sort of get that presentation going in there. We have another 13 minutes, so we could go ahead and put something on here if you would like to.
Sure.
But by and large, this is here. So why don't we go ahead and just finish off with that? Let me go ahead and move over to do that. Okay. I guess I can. Where do I share from? Boop, boop. Is this helpful for everyone? Is everyone getting a lot of good, juicy stuff out of this process? Yeah? Cool. Very glad to hear that. Awesome. At any point, if you have any questions, now would be the time to ask. We're going to transition a bit to doing just a quick design piece so that he's got a thumbnail image there. And that should be enough that you could just make a post talking about getting some beta clients into a wait list, and you're ready to go. Okay. If I was Canva, where would I be? Okay, let's just do it this way. All right, can everyone see my screen? Can they see? Oh yeah, it's working. Okay, beautiful. So you can see here I've got the new one that I made. Here's some of the old ones. This is coming. It's going to be kind of fun. I also have Business Goose here. All right. So we're going to do, let's just start a new one here. Okay. You sent me a couple pictures of you, right?
Yeah, but I have some more.
Okay, could you go ahead and just send me a couple more? And then I'm going to, oh, you know what? Actually, I'll keep that where it was. Sorry, 1 second. Beautiful. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab. Perfect. Is this another image? So you sent me 2 headshots? So stoic in this one. I usually recommend the ones that always perform the best, at least in, oh, you sent me another. Very cool. Love that. That's a great one. That one's kind of cool. That one's pretty cool. All right. So let's just start with these for now. You'll see some of our headshots here on the side. We're first going to start with getting you, by the way, this is all on Canva. I'm happy to share these templates. I've tried to simplify them as much as possible so that you can just simply do this. And voila, automation at its finest. Now, we do have to get you a headshot that is a little bit more happy or silly or playful, just something that's relatable. Now knowing you, I think that'd be really important. Give me 2 colors, Jonas.
Dark red and dark green.
Love it. Christmas.
Yeah, probably.
All right.
I can check my phone for photos, but I don't have so crazy many.
That's okay. We'll just start with this for now. Everyone can watch how we do the profile photo. It's small beans, but it makes a big difference. There you are. All right. Nope, not that. Page 25. By the way, if any of you know how to do Photoshop and the rest, I often recommend just jumping over to Canva because surprisingly, if you simplify the process, it becomes much, much easier. And Canva is a really good tool that's well known. So that's oftentimes why I'll use that one. This one. Okay, so let's go ahead and here. There is your image. You can use. Yep, so you can use that as your profile image. It's a conversation starter. As I've probably told a lot of you guys, it's a very big. I put a lot of stupid research and time into these little tiny nuggets, and so that's why a lot of times, if I'm trying to give someone a win, it makes sense to do something like a profile image or something like that because it's such low hanging fruit. All right, now let's go ahead and put something like this in here. Let's see if this background remover works. Yeah, that should work. Okay. All right. So what's the vibe or energy of the things that you teach and how you teach them? Is it like crazy colors and chaos, or is it like this is a million different pieces? Is it something simple? Is it clean? Is it energized? What's like a couple of adjectives you would use?
I think kind of artistic, minimal, colorful, friendly.
Artistic, minimal, colorful, friendly. Love that. Is it more forest? Is it more
vibe? You know,
Tokyo
movie
vibes.
platform or movie.
Dude, Tokyo vibes. Hell yeah. Do you spend time over in Japan?
No, but I think it's on the list, kind of. Yeah.
Very cool. I love that. Is it real or is it imaginative? Imaginative.
That's
It's
hard
creative.
to answer. Like, I think what that could be is about turning your imagination to life, kind of. So it's vivid,
Beautiful.
kind of, still a bit crafty. I think like a film atelier vibe, kind of.
Okay, love that. So let's say, would it be too much to say cyber? How is it? It's like a cyberpunk. Oh, whoops, Tokyo, kill me. Something like this.
We can try.
All right. This is just to get us started.
Yeah.
So which of these two do you like more?
I think the purple one.
The purple one. Great. All right. So if that's the case, we're going to do one more then. Yeah, Diana.
Stupid idea. Because the cutout is so strong, why not having something like a bright greenish gradient that is pretty much like a
That's crazy.
green screen?
Yeah, that was exactly where I was going. Great minds think
Too
alike.
late.
I love that. Yeah, I was thinking.
I mean,
either
this ad that I'm running is kind of also pretty green. It's like a dark green.
Beautiful.
It's this color kind.
Okay.
Because then you can also put like some text on it, because you give it some calmness, and the picture itself is so detailed. So then you have a nice contrast with it.
Yeah, I completely agree. So we're going to adjust this and make it a little bit brighter and give it some stronger contrast. There we go. Okay, cool. Oh, and we also have to add a little bit of saturation. Okay, great. So then let's go ahead and grab a heading on here. Now, oftentimes I will put this in the higher thirds, but when you go over to, and I'll show you, show you really quick. When you are in discovery, you will often see that this now takes up a good amount. So it's important that you don't use that space. That was a big reason why I moved all of my words down here, and this is just empty space now. So, okay, full-time filmmaker. It's simple.
Course by Porker Walbeck or something, who's also a full-time filmmaker. Not to run into issues there, but I don't know if it's a protect.
How's
I think it's, but we can change it. But it might be protected.
I mean, if they get upset about it, we can always change it. But I put 30-day on there too. Either is totally fine.
Yeah, okay. I liked film full time, but it was just thinking maybe it's a copyright thing or something.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, let's just leave full time for now. And if someone gets upset, we're just starting with the basics. So I'm going to add one more thing on here that is often overlooked, and that is color emphasis. So we're going to go over here to a square. I always recommend people do this also because everything is rounded on Skool. A lot more modern vibes. I would recommend doing a rounded version of it. Oh, come on, you little bastard. All right. So this is going to be a lighter tone, and this is going to be a darker tone.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. And it also gives it an image of three-dimensionalness. So it's a very subtle thing that you can usually use to. I'm a designer at heart, so this stuff is, remember I said creative? This is my jam. All right, there you go. Looks pretty good. I would click on that shit.
Looks good.
That's fine. Okay, wonderful. So let's go ahead and export this. Oh. Great. Okay. All right, that looks delicious. Look at how nice those curves are. And then we're going to do one more thing. We're going to create a logo. You guys may recognize some of these other ones. So let's go ahead and capture all of this. For those of you that ever struggle with design or enjoy it, you can please feel free to steal any or all of these techniques. I've done it for a long time. Okay, we're going to go. Where's that square? Oh, there you go, square. Okay, and we're going to grab a camera. What camera do you like?
I mean, we can go with a minimal thing. There was this.
Like that?
Just the white one. But this is fine also. Yeah, that's fine. It's perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
And then white maybe.
Yep, exactly. Completely agree. All right, so let's go ahead and export that. Ooh, that looks good. Damn, I'm good. All right, here we go. Logo. Beautiful. Upload right here. Boom. All right. Update settings. So now you have a lovely looking presentation.
Nice.
And we can always resize it so it fits. For some reason, Sam elected to make this different than this, but yeah, we'll talk about that later. Okay, wonderful. So there we are. In 2 hours, we've gone ahead and finished the first section of 6, which is the clarity part. That's going through the who, what, when, where, why, how, all that stuff, along with the offer, making sure it's nice and clear, usually beginning with a anchor offer. And the about page is there, and there's a picture up. None of it has to be perfect. It just has to exist, and now it exists. And a couple of them are pretty perfect. So I imagine we'll arrange. I mean, I'm doing this basically all the time. So if you are down to do another one tomorrow, we can just start smashing through this stuff, and whoever wants to be present.
I would be in. Yeah, I would be in tomorrow for sure.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead and do then tomorrow the second section, which will be culture. This is the one that I think is overlooked the most on the platform, is people will just kind of do the most tangibles. But of course, those of us that are creatives, this is a part that it's really good to focus on. And I think everyone should, but creatives are usually better at it. where you decide what are the characteristics that and emotions that you want people to feel so that they can engage and feel like they're being heard, they feel related to, all of those kinds of things. So that will be tomorrow. And would you like to do the same time tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
5.
Let me go ahead and set it. Also, if someone has a cooler name, like a more stupid or fun name that's better than protocol, let me know. I haven't really given it that much thought yet. And this is culture.
I think framework is always a nice thing.
Still sounds
But maybe
very,
it's,
but it is better. It's better than protocol.
professional.
Let me find this.
Or something like journey, but
Oh, journey. I like that. That's cool. Let me put that in there. And then we just have to make sure to use the link in the community so that we don't accidentally join the wrong meeting again.
You could make it basically steps.
Make what steps?
Steps.
Oh, just
like
steps.
steps.
Oh,
Step by step.
yeah, that
Very
one's
basic.
I kind of like that. Okay. And then I'm going to place it right now in the community.
Or you could call it a community odyssey.
Oh, Robbie over here with the big guns. Love that. Okay. All right. I actually really like Odyssey. In fact, I thought about that a long time ago. Holy shit. That's great. I really like Odyssey. All right. Cool. Well, everybody, I hope you got a fantastic breakout from this. Do we have any final questions before we go ahead and get back to our holidays? Well, your guys' holidays. I just fucking do this all day. And then we'll pick it back up again tomorrow if you'd like to. But if you don't have the time and you have life to live, do that, and the recording will be up there. You just won't be able to ask the questions live. Jonas, do you have any last question?
no, I just think it was really nice to talk to you all, and I enjoyed it. So hope you have a good evening then, or what time is it that you're playing?
All right. Hey, love you all. Thank you all for this wonderful call. We'll see you all tomorrow or some
See you.
point down the line. Bye-bye.